yo, and hello, and welcome to the 74th episode of GameSpeak Podcast. New episodes go up for free every Wednesday in audio format on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and all of your favorite podcast directories, and now in video format on YouTube, so you can see our toy bods. They're very toy.
Jamel's toy bod.
And Brent's as well. We're just made of tight bods.
Toitness.
But this show is two childhood BFFs bringing you all things video games. You can find us online at createforsanity.com, where you can listen to episodes, subscribe for behind-the-scenes news, read rad articles, and buy sick t-shirts from our fucking shop. Also, be sure to join the community in the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/GameSpeakPodcast to hang and talk games with other nerds like us. I'm one of your hosts, Jamal Aljaafreh, alongside Brent. I already mentioned him, Bass.
Hey.
What's up, Brent?
Just keeping it toit.
Yeah,
like a toiger.
We have to for YouTube now.
Yeah.
It's like people are like, man, why are you keeping your body so tight? It's like, for YouTube, you know?
I'm just kind of sad that I can't wear like stupid ass shirts anymore over here. You know, I used to just show up in like my fucking pajamas basically, and we'd do this.
Yeah,
know?
I mean,
that's
still
the only.
can.
I mean, you know, I probably will. I'll probably devolve to that eventually. You know, but now I gotta stay fly with my wolf hat. I promised everybody last week that I would wear the wolf hat this week, and
yeah, that is true. I forgot that was a promise. I'm pretty sure nobody would have held you to that.
No,
so
but
now
I would have held myself to that. You know, I'm a man of my word, no matter how small the word may be. You know what I mean?
I like that.
It's
so reliable.
You gotta keep that honor system going. You know.
I'm pretty sure the wolves respect it. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so like, we're chilling with the Pillar of Autumn behind us.
Yeah, in space. Well, kind of not in space.
We're like on a cliff edge.
Yeah, we're on the cliff.
We chose a picture beforehand for the green screen, so we're learning as we go, and we hope you guys enjoy the sights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just two tight bods sitting in front of.
No, but I'm glad you
Pillar
mentioned the Pillar of Autumn, because we're hopefully going to be transforming into different locations for every episode.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. So yeah, if you're not watching it in video format, you're missing out. On all the scenes,
on all the great locales that we could be visiting with you.
Yeah.
You know,
we could be in Raccoon City one week, and the next city we could be in Cloud City. You know, it just doesn't.
You never know. One of these cities, you know.
Where's Cloud City again? I feel like I just made that up.
No, that's a real thing. I think that's either from
Cloud Kingdom.
No. It sounds better when you say Cloud City for some reason. Yeah. I think it's from like Kid Icarus or something like that.
Maybe. But I guess what we've got now is Clout City. Just kidding. No.
Oh,
anyways,
gosh.
let's jump into the video game news. That, you know, that's what everyone came here for, right? They want to hear us talk about the video games. Okay, so yeah. So first off, Grand Theft Auto 5 continues to be a sales juggernaut. Sony has published the monthly U.S. PlayStation Store sales charts, and the game was the top seller for PlayStation 4 during the month. More impressive is that it's the second month in a row that Rockstar's game topped the charts for PS4 in the U.S. And, you know, apparently Red Dead Redemption 2 might have a little bit to do with that, but yeah.
I mean, it would make sense, but at the same time, it's like, holy shit, I can't believe it's topping the charts still. It's like how old is that game? Like 5 years old or some shit like that?
It's last gen. That's how old it is. It was 360 PS3 gen.
It was crazy. I remember getting it on Xbox 360, and it had like an install disc like the modern games do, you know, and you had to install it first, and I was like, oh, this is so fucking crazy that you had to install it beforehand.
Yeah, man, it's the future. But
I feel like we took a big step backwards. Like,
no, dude, forever installations.
Like, why the fuck can I stream modern PS4 games on PS Now, but I can't fucking play the shit without installing the disc first? Like, what the fuck?
I think they just want you to get the best experience possible. And that way, like, when you're playing the game, it's not constantly loading stuff.
Yeah, I do think that once, you know, if your disc ends up getting scratched up or something like that, it's not as big of an issue anymore because fucking You know what I mean? You got most of the data downloaded onto the console now, you know?
I guess. I don't know the science behind that.
I don't know, you know?
Could be.
I mean, I feel like I've had less issues with it, but that just could be because, like, we're not using, like, CD-ROMs or DVD. You know, it's like all games are on, like, Blu-ray DVDs now, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
So.
Well, all PlayStation.
All modern games.
No, because Xbox does a different type of disc. They don't do Blu-ray. I don't.
What do they do?
Or wait, maybe they do Blu-ray.
I thought everybody did Blu-ray.
We're gonna have to look into that because I know there's something. Maybe it's right. Maybe Blu-ray is everything, but I thought Xbox did like a completely different kind of disc.
They might. I mean, the only other disc I feel like that would be capable of handling like a modern game would be like an HD DVD. You know, like the Blu-ray's only real competition. Oh yeah, that kind of flopped.
I think that's what they did on 360. Maybe that's where I'm getting confused because the Blu-rays were on PlayStation 3 as well, but you couldn't play Blu-rays on the Xbox 360. That's what it was. My bad. You were right.
No, I mean I don't know. You know, but it's interesting.
By the way, guys. All of this news is just commentary on news that we took from GameSpot and like IGN and stuff. Big places like that. Yeah. We're not taking credit for this news. We're just talking about it.
We're not IGN themselves. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn. We'll get into that in a minute, though. All right, go ahead.
Let's see. So this is a piece of news that generally, if I get news from anywhere other than GameSpot, I'll tell you about it. You know, this comes from TrustedReviews.com. He says, video games involving Nazis are nothing new for most gamers throughout the world, but in Germany they officially didn't exist until now. A ban on Nazi symbols in computer games has been lifted in the country, meaning that titles no longer need to be self-censored in order to be legally sold. Symbols of anti-constitutional organizations can be used in a title as long as it serves the arts or science, the representation of its events of the day or history, explains the USK, Germany's rating body, in a statement. Games going forward will now be treated on a case-by-case basis, with the main question being whether the symbolism is used for artistic or dramatic use rather than sympathetic propaganda to Nazi ideals. Excuse me, my mouth is a little dry. I'm like tripping over my words.
What video game is sympathetic to Nazi propaganda? When's the last time you just popped in a game?
No, there's that one. Remember that when we did the most controversial games episode and we talked about that one game where you're like a white supremacist guy and you go around killing? Hatred, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you probably can't play that game in Germany.
But that's not on store shelves, you know?
No, but I mean, it's just an example.
But see, I feel like you should be able to kill as many Nazis as you want. Like,
absolutely.
I feel like that's a worldwide accepted view.
Yeah,
there,
absolutely.
You know? Like, come on. I mean, like, what have they been killing this whole time?
That's what I want to know. I think they've made up, like, Nazi-like regimes. Yeah. Because in Wolfenstein 2, for example, you look at all the flags in the background, there's, like, a symbol on them that's not, that almost looks alien. Not a swastika. You know what I mean?
And they don't even, and Hitler didn't have his iconic stash.
He didn't even look like Hitler without the stash, but they didn't even change his character model or anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He kind of looked like Walt Disney.
It's kind of crazy how much the stash defined Hitler's face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. It was.
I almost wanted technology to see Hitler without his stash. You know what I mean?
Thank God for that.
Thank God
That's
for
what
that.
we needed. That way you can't hide in Argentina from us. No, but anyways. EA's Madden franchise is one of the most commercially successful series in the history of video games. The publisher announced today that the franchise has now sold more than 130 million copies of Madden games since the franchise debuted back in 1988. The sales milestone comes after the release of Madden NFL 19, which enjoyed a strong opening weekend, EA said in a press release. EA did not provide a specific unit sales figure for Madden NFL 19, nor did it say how sales compared to Madden NFL 18. But
well, I mean, if you make 130 million Madden games, you're going to get 130 million sales.
Whoa.
Like, Jesus Christ.
There's only 19.
There's not only 19. That's bullshit.
I know. There's like those little in-betweeners.
I was about to say, there's like 2000 through 19, but before that, they had like 99, 98. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
It goes further back. You know what I mean?
Like, I guess for 130 million copies over like spanning like 3 decades,
Bro, it goes all the way back to like the fucking Super Nintendo or some shit. When was John Madden's name stamped on the game? Because I know that they were putting out football games before they branded it like Madden. You know what I mean?
I think it was Super Nintendo was the earliest.
Either way,
but
they've been popping them bitches out for a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's nothing to be excited about. You guys should just be sad. Anyways, what do you got, Brent?
Let's see. Fortnite has launched on Android devices.
Fortnite? What is that? No,
it's that game.
Every time.
The beta launched exclusively on Samsung devices last week, and now it's available on other Android platforms. Okay. However, you'll have to jump through a few hoops before you can jump from the battle bus. Epic is using a special Fortnite installer on the company's website, so you're not going to find what you're looking for in Google Play Store like other mobile games. Searching for Fortnite or Fortnite Battle Royale won't get you anywhere. What type of Android device you're using will determine where and how you install the game. Things are a bit easier for you if you've got a Samsung device. If you have a Galaxy S7, S7 Edge, S8, S8 Plus, S9, S9 Plus, Note 8, Note 9, Tab S3, or Tab S4, then go to Game Launcher. From there, search for Fortnite and download the installer. That's it. You can also download the game straight from Epic's website. It's with other Android devices where things get tricky.
Oh, God. There's more to this?
I'm sorry. I feel like this is informative, though, for those of you with Android devices. That would like
how to
play.
do this.
So I'm sorry. This is a little long-winded, but, it's worth learning. So first, you'll need to check the Epic's list of compatible devices. If your device is eligible, you can sign up on the Fortnite Android beta waiting list with your email. Eventually, you'll get to the front of the queue and get an email with your invitation to the beta. Log in with your Epic account to connect your Xbox Live, PSN, or PC Battle Pass progress. After that, you'll need to wait again. Epic reports it should only take a few days for you to get your official invite to the Fortnite beta. When your invitation is registered, you'll be able to download the Fortnite installer. Once that is on your device, you will be able to download the Fortnite app to your phone or tablet. When the download is done, wait for Fortnite to boot up and log into your Epic account. From there, you'll be able to start playing. You're advised to keep the Fortnite installer even after you've started playing, as the installer is what keeps the game updated with new patches, not the actual game app. And they put out a new patch like every Wednesday, so,
Okay.
So there you go.
Sorry. Do all of those
steps. All of that stuff, Go back, listen to this as many times as you need to. Follow my silky smooth instructions.
Yeah, start from the very beginning of the episode every time.
Every time.
So the Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay trailer got dropped, but we have a question about this later, so we'll hold on to it. We'll just talk more about that later in the episode.
For sure.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So I'm going to skip over that. The PlayerUnknown's Battleground test server, PTS, for Xbox One is once again live with a new update you can download right now. Update 18 makes several gameplay changes to the Battle Royale game, including dynamic weather effects and bullet limb penetration. The update will remain on the PTS for playtesting before being applied to the main PUBG servers at a later date. So,
did you see that article about the fixpubg.com or whatever?
No, I did not.
Apparently, the makers of PUBG have made this website called Fix PUBG, and they're gonna do this thing. I didn't write it down because I was like, whatever. But they're gonna do this thing pretty soon where you can go on that website and tell them what you want fixed, and they're gonna do their best to do it.
They'll never fix it.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't. But
I mean. It's kind of obvious what needs to be fixed. Why do they have to have people tell them to fix it? It's buggy. 1, 2, it's buggy. 3, fucking fix the game. All right, make it work. That's it. It's
honestly, I think they need to make a slightly less ambitious game that has got less bugs in it. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
or like even like fuck with the graphics. Like I know it sounds bad.
Or just start from scratch. You know, like
I don't think you can just start from fucking scratch. Like where are they gonna get the money for that?
I mean, they're getting money. They're still selling. It's not like people just stop playing PUBG altogether, you know? They're just not doing as well as they want to, you know?
I think they just need to fucking just lower their ambition. Maybe just get out of the industry, you know? No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe just quit, you know? No, I don't know.
Call it a day. You know, you guys tried your hardest.
Just cut your losses, you know?
Yeah.
Take the money and run.
Take the money and run.
Liquidate.
The more you post on the internet about, hey, you guys tell us what our problems are, the more problems you're going to have because, you know, people don't like to like things. But anyways, I just want to know what the whatchamacallit is, the bullet limb penetration is. Does that just mean
maybe like if you hit your arm and it goes through your arm and hits your chest or something? Or like
like maybe from the side, like if you get hit from like a profile view and like on the arm and it goes through and hits your heart.
Or maybe you shoot a sniper shot and it goes through, you know, your chest and then goes into the guy behind you and like there's like a drop off on damage or something like that.
I feel like that would be like body penetration though. Why limb penetration? That's very specific. Maybe you can't shoot through someone's arm to hit the person behind them right now. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
Okay. But
that's one of those things that I just don't know.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Let's see. Anyone who hasn't picked up Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege yet will have a chance to give the online shooter a try for free this weekend.
Ooh.
Between August 16th and 20th, anyone with an Xbox One, PS4, or PC can play the full game for free, including all maps, modes, and operators. It's a really fun game, too, so...
Yeah.
Definitely worth a go on that one.
Free playthrough.
Yeah. 4 days is a pretty good amount of time, too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The indie RPG Undertale is getting physical copies on Nintendo Switch, including a hefty collector's edition loaded with goodies for fans. An eShop release is also planned for release in September. And Fangamer is putting Undertale merchandise on sale throughout August and the lead up to launch. An Undertale standard physical edition for Switch will be $29 and come with a 24-page story booklet. It will be sold online through Fangamer and at Best Buy retail stores. A separate collector's edition will be $69 and available only through the Fangamer site. This one includes the game and art booklet, along with a 14-karat gold-plated brass music box locket, a 2-disc soundtrack CD, a booklet of Undertale sheet music, and a collector's box with slipcase. Yeah, throw in that long S. No, but
I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of special editions of stuff, the remake of Resident Evil 2 is a treat for fans.
Is it?
But serious collectors can get some very unique goodies, at least if they live in Japan or want to pay for an import. While the game comes in several different collector's edition configurations on the Japanese site, the centerpiece is a working Bluetooth and USB keyboard modeled after the series' iconic typewriter. The keyboard retails for 75,000 yen, approximately $675 by itself, and is compatible with your PC, Mac, or tablet. For 82,800 yen, $750, you can also get a copy of the game and a typewriter ribbon prop. This piece, the piece de resistance, is the $9,900 yen, or the $900 copy, which includes the typewriter keyboard, 4 ribbons, and the boxed collector's edition of the game. The collector's edition comes with a poster, art book, soundtrack, CD, Leon Kennedy figure, collector's box, and a code for additional DLC, and goes for a more reasonable 24,800 yen, or $225 on its own.
So reasonable.
So reasonable. All of these editions are for the PlayStation 4 version. Or you could just go buy a couple of Nintendo Switches, you know?
Just a couple of them. I mean, I guess like for any Resident Evil hardcore fan, that's pretty cool.
I will say this, the keyboard is sick. Like, it is fucking sick. I mean, if you just want a sweet-ass keyboard...
It looks like a typewriter.
It's really tight. Yeah, it looks like a typewriter, but it's a little more modern. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool. It sounds pretty cool. I wonder if they're going to sell those after, like, just individually at some point.
I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things that they'll probably do, like, a really limited run because they're probably expensive, you know?
It'll be worth so much money. A movie based on Naughty Dog's Uncharted games has been in the works for many years, but it seems that it's getting close. It's getting close to actually happening. Following last year's news that Spider-Man star Tom Holland will play a young Nathan Drake, we have an update from director Sean Levy. Levy is also a producer of Stranger Things, and in an interview about that Netflix hit, was asked about the status of other upcoming projects, including the Uncharted movie. Quote, as of right now, the closest to the starting line is Uncharted in that it's a massive title, he told the playlist. We now have a very good script, and we have our star in Tom Holland. That is now subject to schedule and additional casting. But I would say as of right now, that seems to be the most near horizon, and it's a movie I'm very excited about.
So Tom Holland, you said Tom Holland is the most recent Spider-Man?
Yeah, he's the
one that was in the
Avengers
dude. Guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Homecoming.
I don't see it, man.
He's a young Nathan Drake.
I just don't see it.
He's young. No.
So he must look like that.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm not into the whole Marvel universe over the top love for this. Like, I'm just not a fanboy, okay? But there's a lot of people that love Tom Holland. Like, I tried to watch Spider-Man Homecoming and I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think he's got a great Spider-Man voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just don't see it, you know. I was just getting used to the other fucking Spider-Man guy they had
Andrew
switched
Garfield.
out. Yeah.
See, my Spider-Man will always be Tobey.
Yeah,
Tobey
was the shit.
Boy.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Everyone's like, oh, no, he was stupid. It's like, no, you weren't saying that whenever Spider-Man fucking 2 came out in theaters. Don't you fucking lie.
Yeah, dude.
Anyways.
Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man movie freaking started all this fucking superhero movie shit. I feel like, anyways.
I agree.
Like,
you know,
it was at its time like one of the highest grossing movies ever. Like,
yeah, and the effects were next level.
Oh,
I'm sure now it would look horrible, but
dude, that movie, like, really, I was like super into Spider-Man for a long time as a kid. After that, you know what I mean? Like,
same. I want Tobey Maguire to, like, you know, get old and then come back and do like an old man Spider-Man. He's like all grizzled.
That's
and
like the only universe they haven't done yet, like old Spidey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they keep trying with these Spider-Mans, and I
think that would be tight if he like still had his superpowers, but he was just old as fuck, and he was like in the nursing home. Maybe he's got like dementia, so like halfway through the mission, he just like forgets what he's doing.
Instead of Spider-Man dimensions, it's Spider-Man dementia.
Oh, that'd be
horrible. Anyways, what do you got?
Let's see. Bethesda has discussed how Fallout 76 will deal with griefers, namely players that are intent on attacking and killing others, even when their target isn't interested in player versus player combat. As discussed during the game's QuakeCon 2018 panel by game director Todd Howard. By the way, guys, if there's a lot of Bethesda news, it's just because QuakeCon just happened. QuakeCon. Panel by Bethesda decided to turn griefers into content for other players by giving them a taste of their own medicine. We want this element of danger without griefing, said Howard, who continued to explain that when you shoot someone, you do a little bit of damage. He equated this action to lightly slapping someone in a bar to see if they want to fight. The other player can choose to ignore the slap or engage. If it's the latter, you start doing full damage. Think Borderlands. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm hearing some,
you know what I mean? It seems like, because you know how it works almost exactly like that in Borderlands. Those that don't want to engage in PvP but are still killed do receive some in-game justice. The player that kills someone who doesn't agree to combat becomes a, quote, wanted murderer and receives no rewards from their kill, whether it's caps or experience. This player also then appears on the map as a red star and has a bounty placed on their head. The money from the bounty is taken out of the murderer's pool, and also other players looking to cash in on that bounty aren't visible to the murderer on the map. Players that are higher level offer better rewards if engaged and killed. If you decide to do some PvP and are killed, you have the option to seek revenge. Doing so gives the player the opportunity to get double the rewards if they're successful on the second attempt. PvP doesn't activate until level 5, and there are options to block and ignore players. Additionally, you can choose to completely turn off the so-called slap mechanic. When you die, the only consequence is that you drop the junk you're collecting, which is used to build. Armor and weaponry isn't lost upon death, so the only decision you have to make after dying is whether you want to go back and collect your resources.
I really like that idea. I like the idea of like getting a fucking bounty on your head if you are just a douche.
Yeah, totally. I think it's going to be fun, because I think it's going to dissuade a lot of people from doing that. And it's going to, like, to the point where when it does happen, it'll be like kind of like a moment where everybody's like, oh, shit, let's go get that bounty.
Let's get money.
So everybody's going to rush that dude. It's going to be like a fucking, like, free-for-all. I don't know. It'll be cool.
Yeah, no, that actually has me a little bit more excited about the game, even though I've already been pretty excited for it. Like, this gets me
I think it's
going
to be fun. Did you see them talking about the perk cards?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'll go ahead and talk about that too, because I didn't really write it down, but I thought it was kind of interesting. How it works when you level up, you get like cards, and you can put the cards on your like status and like upgrade your perks. You know what I mean? It's really interesting how they did it. And like every few levels, you get like a pack of cards, and like it's all just random perks you can apply to your character. But like every time you level up, you start with a base of one special skill in each stat. You know what I mean? So, like, you can level up your endurance or something, and you'll have, like, 2. And, like, with every point, every card has a value of points. So you can only equip a certain amount of cards depending on how many points you have for your special attributes. I don't know. It's really, it's a lot easier. It's a lot better explained when Todd Howard's sitting there and there's videos and shit flying around in the background.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is a little too technical to...
But it's worth a look. Go on YouTube, check out the Fallout 76 QuakeCon panel. There's a lot of cool new info about it, so check that out.
Sweet. So, Pokemon Quest, the free-to-play game that imagines Pokemon in block form, has passed a big new revenue milestone. The game has now pulled in more than $8 million from its microtransactions across iOS and Android.
Good God.
Yes. This is according to a report from Sensor Tower, which added that the game made more than $3 million during its first week alone. The game is currently averaging around $30,000 per day in revenue across iOS and Android, which is down from the game's single-day record of $580,000 on June 30th. The bulk of spending comes from the iOS edition of the game, 66% compared to 44% for Google Play. Yeah, I mean, it's a free-to-play trash game.
It really is. I hate to say it, though, but I hope games like this and Fortnite encourage more free-to-play games to come out. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say Pokemon Quest is a good game.
No, I'm not saying that exactly, but I'm saying, like, just the amount of money they're making. I'm sure other developers are like, shit, if we made a good game, we could actually fucking, cash in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm broke as fuck a lot of the time, and it's nice to have games that are free, like Let It Die and Paladins and fucking, Fortnite, I don't know. I just wish, I hope more comes like that. Because I hope they can see that it's a profitable route to take.
Yeah, it gives everybody a chance to play.
Totally. Let's see. Fortnite has a heavy sniper coming soon that's supposed to be able to do damage to structures.
How many pounds? How heavy is this sniper?
It's pretty heavy, bro. There's also a double barrel shotgun that is now live, so you can give it to them with both barrels.
Okay. Is that like a phrase that people use?
Yeah, dude, you never heard that?
Give it to them with both barrels?
Yeah.
That sounds like something a psychopath would say.
Well, it's kind of like a Western thing more than anything. Like, back in like the old Western movies, they'd like...
Oh, okay.
They'd have like
you
could shoot one of your shotgun barrels, or you could give it to him with both barrels and shoot 2 shells at once and like really blow them the fuck away.
So still a psychopath, just a Western
psychopath. Yeah, I mean
everyone
was a psycho back then. Yeah.
Okay. So Bethesda has spoken up to share its side of the story after its lawyers threatened legal action against someone trying to sell a secondhand copy of The Evil Within 2 on Amazon's marketplace.
This is a good one.
Yeah, so some context, a person from Philadelphia, Ryan Hupp, told Polygon that they bought a new copy of The Evil Within 2, never unsealed it, and tried to sell it on Amazon's marketplace. Bethesda's legal team, Voris, reached out to Hupp to say what Hupp was doing was unlawful, in part because Hupp used the word quote-unquote new to describe the game. Hupp complied with Bethesda's request, but told Bethesda's team that the sell was protected by the first sell doctrine in the U.S. that allows people to resell copyrighted material. However, Bethesda reportedly said this doesn't apply because the game is lacking the warranty that would have come with the game initially to make up its original form. In a statement to Polygon, Bethesda said it went after Hupp because he was attempting to sell The Evil Within 2 as a quote-unquote new game. Quote, we do not allow non-authorized resellers to represent what they sell as new because we can't verify that the game hasn't been opened and repackaged, Bethesda said. This is how we help protect buyers from fraud and ensure our customers always receive authentic new product with all enclosed materials and warranty intact. Bethesda said it would not have threatened action against Hupp had the listing been presented as pre-owned. Bethesda marketing boss Pete Hines chimed in with some further context and clarification around the situation. Asked why Bethesda even cares that what some other person does, Hines said, because it's our customer. Does it have the extras that came in the box? Is it missing stuff? Is the disc now scratched and need to be replaced by us? People who buy our games are our customers no matter where they buy it. It's our product. It's our responsibility. Further still, Hines pointed out that Bethesda wouldn't have made any extra money. It took action because it's simply about new being truly new. And that was a long one, but it's pretty important. Don't go selling stuff on eBay, listing it as new, because you might just get sued by Bethesda.
Still, I feel like even with all that, it's
a
bit of an overreaction on Bethesda's part.
Unless this guy's like got a huge marketplace on Amazon
where he's just reselling games. But I mean, where is he getting them at a low enough price, to where he could make that profitable? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. He might have just been selling also a bunch of different stuff. Like not everyone sells just one type of product on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Hines in that interview, he talks about how this is how they keep shit from getting counterfeited and stuff like that. But I mean, if you buy fucking Fallout 4 from some dude on the fucking internet and then you get some bootleg copy of some game that's not actually Fallout 4, I mean, don't you think you're going to just realize you got duped by somebody on the internet? You're not going to
it's Bethesda's fault.
Blame Bethesda for that shit, you know what I mean?
I think the real issue here is the fact that whenever somebody gets this game and for whatever reason they got to send it in to get it repaired or something, that's on their dime because they're not making money off of this guy. Like, it just feels like something money related. Like, even though they're not trying to get money out of him, I feel like they're just like, I don't know. It just seems greedy. It seems kind of pointless.
It does seem
pointless. Like, so who at Bethesda was just like rolling through the internet and they were like, oh, that's not new. That's what I'm saying. Like, this just seems so small fry for Bethesda. Like, maybe if this was like some little fucking company, some indie game dev or something, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But like, they're huge. I mean, like, that's ridiculous. That's like McDonald's suing somebody for like selling a fucking thing of their fries to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very random, I feel like. I feel like this is just so random and pointless. Like,
yeah.
I feel like maybe somebody who works at Bethesda just knew this guy and didn't like him and was like, hey,
maybe,
guys.
like, I went to school with that dude. He's an asshole. You know?
Like, let's get him, dude. Let's scare him.
Either way,
It is what it is.
It is.
Sell
indeed.
it as pre-owned, even if you haven't opened it.
Don't be like that guy.
Yeah, because like I know I worked at Game Exchange for a while, and I know that you can't say that a game is new.
Well,
like,
that's another thing that Pete Hines mentions in the interview. He talks about how GameStop won't buy games if they're
unopened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he finished the interview. Actually, he was talking about that.
Yeah. At GameStop and places like that, they'll like cut open they'll make you cut open the package if you still have it in there, and then they'll buy it from you.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what you got?
Let's see. Cuphead, the gorgeous and difficult Xbox One and PC indie game, has reached an impressive new sales milestone.
Gorgeous.
The game has now sold 3 million copies. This is up from 2 million as of December 7, 2017, and 1 million after its first 2 weeks back in September. So that's pretty good. Still selling really well.
I love that game. They're working on Cuphead 2 right now.
Oh, good. They need to be. I mean, they need to be. It was so successful, they'd be a fool not to make a Cuphead 2.
Oh, yeah, and people love the characters and whatnot. You know, they got Cuphead mugs and stuff.
They could probably get a bigger team now working on it, too.
Definitely.
Really make the game bigger.
They won so many awards at the Video Game Awards. It was cool. Microsoft is making some big hires for its new studio, The Initiative. Studio boss Daryl Gallagher, who came to Microsoft from Square Enix and Activision, announced a series of big-name hires on his LinkedIn page recently, and they include one of the key creative leads on Rockstar's 2010 acclaimed Western, Red Dead Redemption. Though the page has since been deleted, the internet never forgets. The website Remote Play saw the page and reports that among the new hires is Christian Cantamessa, who was the lead writer and designer for Red Dead Redemption. One of the other new hires includes Brian Westergaard, who was the lead producer on Sony's God of War. Other new employees include Dan Neuberger, a 12-year veteran of Crystal Dynamics, Blake Fisher, a 16-year Microsoft veteran in publishing, Annie Lohr, formerly a recruiter at Respawn and Snapchat, and Lindsay McQueenie, former recruiter at Google, Crystal Dynamics, and 38 Studios. So they got the writer of Red Dead Redemption on this team now.
Dang.
It's freaking crazy.
That's pretty damn good.
The Initiative better put out some awesome stuff.
Red Dead had a great story too. I feel like as far as Rockstar games goes, I feel like it's up there as one of their best stories ever made in a game. You know,
this is like a super group.
Oh my god,
I'm ready.
The video game super group,
it
dude.
Is.
I feel like this isn't the first super group that we've seen come together though. And the last time a super group came together, we got fucking Forza Horizon, which was awesome. It still is awesome. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I hope it's not more Forza.
Well, no, I'm just saying, super groups are fucking awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Speaking of the industry, talking on the industry, Bethesda has announced it has acquired Escalation Games, the Dallas-based studio that contributed to the development of Skyrim VR, Fallout VR, and Skyrim Switch. It will be known as Bethesda Dallas, as confirmed during QuakeCon 2018. Bethesda Dallas is currently working on Fallout 76, The Elder Scrolls Blades, and the company's brand new property, Starfield. Sadly, those eager to hear more about Starfield, which is an ambitious sci-fi role-playing game, were left wanting, as there was no further discussion about the game. But that doesn't come as a surprise, as Bethesda was very coy about it when it debuted at E3.
Yeah, I mean, the game's many years away.
Yeah, definitely, but still. A guy can dream, and it sounds like they're really putting a lot more resources into it now that 76 is so close to launching. So,
So, but if their Bethesda Dallas team is all VR stuff and they're helping with the...
Well, they're not all VR stuff. They worked on the Switch port for Skyrim as well.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, you're right. They did do a lot of VR stuff. And,
Switch port,
I'm honestly thinking that we're going to get a game that's like Resident Evil 7 that's going to be playable in and out of VR. I feel like Bethesda's heading in that direction. You know what I mean?
I could see that, but I think what it is that they just want to have some type of VR support for any future titles.
I'm okay with that.
Starfield and I believe Elder Scrolls, they're all going to have VR support or some type of VR support. And that's why they brought them on.
Totally.
But more on Bethesda. They showed off the first Doom Eternal gameplay footage during the QuakeCon 2018 keynote. So I don't know if you saw that, but it looks awesome.
Dope. It looks a lot like the first Doom game, which I'm okay with. The most recent Doom looked great.
Yeah, I did notice it. It was something about it. It was more comical in a way. Like, even though the game was comical in 2016, I feel like they showed more of that comical side to it on this one, where like he just grabs the guy's ID tag and just kind of pulls him by it, like in his rolling chair, and, and like walks in. There's like the two guards, and they just kind of like stand down because you like walk in, even though obviously they're supposed to stop you. And you just like take one of their guns, and they're just like, all right, whatever, like, you can have it. It looks awesome. It looks pretty.
It does look awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah.
But alongside that, they also showed off like some more Fallout 76 footage, some Elder Scrolls Legends footage. Who nobody cares about Elder Scrolls Legends. But Rage 2 got some new footage showed off.
Reggae 2.
So,
it's just like a whole bunch of fucking Bob Marley people.
Also, they confirmed the new Doom game is going to be coming to Switch. So
I did see that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. What does that mean, though? Because like the Doom 2016 port was actually kind of whack.
I liked it. I thought it was fun
for the Switch.
I mean, it wasn't like graphically as pretty as it was on the console, but I mean, I feel like it still played pretty decently.
Yeah. Well, they haven't even confirmed that though.
No, right? They have. They put it up on the Twitter page and everything. I mean, it's confirmed.
Oh, 100%. Okay. So it is confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how that goes. I mean, as much as I love my Switch, I don't think I'm gonna buy Doom for my Switch.
Well, if you've got the option, I mean, I'm
going with
definitely
my Xbox
go
One.
with the Xbox One. You know what I mean?
But I want the purtiness.
If you just have a Switch, you know what I mean? It's nice that they have the option. I like that Bethesda is doing Switch support for most of their games now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Most of them. I'm thinking most future titles will have it.
I seriously doubt the new Elder Scrolls will make it on there.
Maybe not Elder Scrolls. You know what I mean?
But
maybe by then we'll have a fucking whole new console, though. I mean, honestly, that's gonna be forever away from this. You know what I mean? Like,
Fallout 76. If they found a way to put that on Switch, like that would blow my fucking mind.
I can't
that
imagine
wouldn't happen though.
I can't imagine it. I think that if they can even get Fallout 4 on the Switch, I'd be impressed. You know what I mean?
I think they are doing that though.
If they do, that'd be dope. You know what I mean?
That would be sweet.
But if they can do that, I feel like they can do 76.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. They could cut a few edges, like a few corners, just don't make it trash,
Yeah.
It can be a little lower graphical fidelity and I'll still have a good time playing it. You know what I mean? Like Doom, for example. I mean, it's still, like you said, it's not the premium Doom experience.
It's still playable.
But it's playable and you can take it on the go.
And they added like the gyroscopic or no, what is it called? Like where you can move the Switch around and like look to shoot that way.
Yeah, they definitely did that.
So Nintendo released a Nintendo Direct presentation that focused on the upcoming Switch game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Among many other pieces of news, the company announced that Donkey Kong Country villain King K. Rool will be a playable character in the game, the Croc's first appearance in the series. Other new characters appearing for the first time in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate include Castlevania's Simon Belmont and Richter, who will be Simon's Echo, meaning he'll control similar to Simon. Also announced was Dark Samus, an Echo character for Samus, who first appeared in the Metroid Prime series.
Dope.
So I want to say that
you forgot Chrom, bro.
It wasn't mentioned on this.
Oh, well, they also announced Chrom. He's an Echo character for Roy.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I mean, is that just another Fire Emblem character?
Yeah, he's from Fire Emblem Awakening.
I'm tired of all these Fire Emblem characters. They could just dump anything.
They were talking
Emblem.
about how the Echo characters work, and you can choose to have them laid out on the character list, or you can have them stacked on top of their Echo character if you want. So, like, you could go to Roy and, like, change the skin, So, I mean, if you really wanted to. I think I'd just kind of enjoy having all the characters, like, out in a line, So I'd probably put it to where they're all out on the thing.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
I wanted to say, though, that the King K. Rool attack or, like, move sets that they showed off in the video were almost exactly the moves that I made up for him.
Really?
Yes.
Dope.
Fucking like go look at our article on that. We did
you called it, bro.
Characters. I even I did like the whole move.
We
set.
called King K. Rool, dude.
Yeah,
we called it way before.
I'm pretty sure everybody knew this was coming, but I'm
just saying we did that article a long time ago before there was even the leak. You know what I mean? Before any of that
definitely
shit.
Before the leak.
You know what I mean? Like we fucking called that shit. Like I'm sorry. I'm pretty proud of us on that one.
I'm just like I just can't believe that they use like the move sets that like it's. I mean, I'm sure there's not much to go on, but like
still though, I mean,
it's like all right,
that's dope.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, what you got?
All right, let's see. Sorry, I scrolled to the King K. Rool news because I got excited.
King K. Rool.
The immensely popular Fortnite is finally out on Android, but its release on the platform is anything from traditional developer Epic Games. We talked about all that. According to a report from Sensor Tower, Google is missing out on $50 million or more in fees as a result of their decision to bypass the Google Play Store.
On the decision of Epic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fortnite on iOS launched back in March and has made more than $180 million so far. According to the data for the company, Apple gets 30% of in-app purchases, which means the company has made around $54 million off of the game. So I guess they assume that Android is probably going to have similar figures.
Oh, okay.
But damn, dude, that's insane.
It really is. It's just nuts. They're dumb.
What? Who?
Well, I guess they're not dumb. I was gonna say like Google, but I mean like it's.
I mean they don't. They can't control that shit. Well, I guess they could. They could do something like iOS and put more restrictions on their phone. But I think that they would. I mean, if they made their phones more restricted, then everybody would just start buying iPhones. You know what I mean?
True.
Because that's kind of the big draw of Android is you don't have those kind of restrictions holding you back. You know, at least that's what I feel like, anyways.
Yeah. So Blizzard has dropped some news on Twitter regarding the dungeon-crawling Diablo series. In addition to saying it would continue using themes for future seasons of Diablo 3, community manager Brandy Camel said in a video that Blizzard is currently working on multiple other Diablo projects. Quote, "The forges here at Blizzard are burning hot, and we have multiple Diablo projects in the works. Some of them are going to take longer than others, but we may have some things to show you later this year."
Cool.
Yeah, Q.
Q.
Yeah, Diablo.
Diablo 4 would be sweet. Let's see. I'm going to give you two of them really fast because they're really little news. Mega Evolutions have been confirmed for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah, I saw that. That's badass.
Yeah. So you can Mega Evolve your shit right away, man. Do that.
So we're like right in the future of the Pokemon world.
The future of the past. Oh my god. Pokemon Days of Futures Past.
Poco Trigger.
And also Steep, the snowboarding game. The port for Switch has been canceled.
Good.
So.
Good. I was very worried about that. Okay, so this last bit of news that I got, do you have much more?
I got a little bit. Let's see.
Go ahead and do that because I want to talk a little bit about this last
one.
one.
Let's see what we got here. Sorry, most of my last newses are like kind of long, so just bear with me. The news articles. The controversy and debate stirred up by Star Wars Battlefront 2's microtransaction system was one of the biggest stories of 2017. The news made international headlines. People outside of gaming circles were even talking about it. In the wake of this, EA is moving away from loot boxes, and now an EA executive has spoken out about how the drama is changing how the company makes games. EA's Vice President of Strategic Growth, Matt Bilby, told GI.biz that the situation was so dramatic that EA had decided to rethink the framework of how it designs and tests games. This is part of a directive called the, quote, EA Moral Compass, Bilby explained. Quote, "I ran a team internally with EA Chief Design Officer Patrick Soderlund post-Battlefront to actually redesign our game development framework and testing platforms to ensure we're giving our game teams the right guidance. We'll call it an EA Moral Compass at the beginning of development, so we're designing our live service early, we're testing it early. Testing it with gamers who are giving us feedback. So we ensure those pillars of fairness, value, and fun are true, Bilby said. So
our corporate greed is now based in morals.
Exactly. Pretty much. But,
we're going to pretend to be human-like.
I mean, they better at least pretend. Shit.
Yeah.
They want to keep selling games in this industry. You know what I'm saying?
It's still funny. Like, it's the most, like, evil movie, like, villain type thing to say. Oh, come here, young ones. We won't bite.
We've got a moral compass now.
Give them both barrels.
Let's see. I got some more. A Nintendo Direct covering the upcoming Smash Bros. Was packed with surprises, including one for fans of the Monster Hunter franchise. The iconic monster Rathalos, I probably butchered that.
Rathalos?
Rathalos.
I don't know. I'm just making up.
That sounds better. Is joining the fray and doing it in a way that's unprecedented for the series. In the presentation, director Mashiro, I'm not even going to try, said that Rathalos is the first character to appear as both a boss and an assist trophy. Bum, bum, bum. The brief footage shows the dragon breathing fire, stomping around, and generally making himself at home among the cast of Nintendo characters. So we've got a Monster Hunter character. I don't think it's too far-fetched that we might get some kind of playable Monster Hunter character somewhere down the line.
Maybe.
Let's see.
I think in like a future title or like maybe DLC possibly. I don't think they're going to announce that before the game actually drops.
You never know. I mean,
that'd be crazy.
I think there's going to be a few surprises they leave for us to find on our own.
Hopefully
you know
so. I like the surprises, like the challengers.
Me too. Like Pac-Man, they didn't say shit about Pac-Man in the last game until the game actually came out, and that was a big surprise, I feel like.
Yeah.
Let's see. Despite a much better critical reception, Resident Evil 7 didn't quite match the financial success of its predecessor, Resident Evil 6.
How?
I don't know, man. That's bullshit. Capcom says it's comfortable with that, though, since artistry counts for more than it would prefer better critical reception at the cost of some sales. They said, quote, while we have shareholders to appease, it's not just about commercial performance. Capcom Europe COO Stuart Turner said to GameIndustry.biz. There is an artistic element that always comes in where we know that this is the right way. And while if we compare Resident Evil 7 to Resident Evil 6, the absolute numbers are not the same. In terms of profitability, it's completely fine. It ticked all of our boxes internally, and it was really well received. And in some respects, getting some very good review scores counts as much for Capcom as a game that sells millions and millions and millions. We'd prefer a game that got a 9 and sold less than a game that got a 6 but sold more. Those numbers aren't far off. Resident Evil 7 received an aggregate score of 86 on GameSpot's sister site Metacritic, while RE6 received a score of only 60. The two received an 8 out of 10 and a 4.5 out of 10 in GameSpot's reviews, respectively. RE7 has only sold 5.1 million units so far compared to RE6's 7.1 million. But the company also says it's taking a longer view for measuring success. Resident Evil 7 hasn't sold as much yet, but it's making steady progress and may still surpass Resident Evil 6 in the long run. Quote, we are less focused on day one sales these days too. We are looking much more at the long term, and in that case, Resident Evil 7 is performing amazingly. Said Capcom's Antoinette Molant. Quote, even now, after almost 2 years, it's still the flagship VR title for PSVR. That helps the game selling well. And that's true. I mean, I think a lot of people, everybody who gets a VR set buys that game, because it is the best VR game for PlayStation VR.
I mean, it's good. Capcom was on like a downhill trajectory for a long time. I feel like they weren't putting out anything good, really, since like Resident Evil 4, in my opinion. And then I think they found themselves. They came back, and they're doing the Mega Man game and like all that stuff. It's like they remember.
I like that Capcom employees are recognizing that VR is helping extend the longevity of its sales too. You know what I mean? Like, that makes me happy personally because it's like they recognize that VR is one of the key components to the success of Resident Evil 7, and at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that makes me happy that maybe in the future they'll keep doing the VR stuff, because I feel like Capcom does that shit right, man. Like, that was incredible.
Yeah, they put the effort in. They put the time in.
They really did. Let's see. Tencent. Sorry, I've got a lot of news today. Tencent shares in Hong Kong fell more than 3% on Tuesday morning after Chinese regulators stopped the tech giant from selling a blockbuster video game, Monster Hunter World, on its distribution platform, WeGame. The move came less than a week after the game was launched in China on August 8th. The statement posted in Chinese on WeGame's website said the game was no longer being sold because its contents did not meet regulatory requirements. I got that piece of news from CNBC.
What is the regulatory requirements? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if it has something to do with, like, I don't know.
The monsters?
It's got to be something to do with the government, like, regulating the games a little bit still. You
Yeah.
know, like, I know they're just now getting to the point where they can actually play games, so.
Yeah, that sucks. But, okay, so here's wait, did you have more?
We've already talked about the Bethesda thing. Nope, that's it.
Bethesda. Okay, so we're going to continue update on some news from last week. If you guys remember, Philip Mewson from IGN actually, plagiarized his Dead Cells review.
Uh-oh.
And at the time, we just knew that they took down the review. He's now been fired. They parted ways with him. I have the official IGN statement on that. It said, "We've reviewed the allegations against one of our writers regarding our review of Dead Cells. After taking the time to investigate, we've determined that there were substantial similarities between a review posted weeks earlier and our review that could not be justified and warranted taking down. It could not be justified and warranted taking down. Though we as a community often share feelings and even certain word choices to describe the games we love by using similar frames of understanding, this particular situation stepped over the line and is not a reflection of our editorial standards. We apologize to our readers, developer Motion Twin, and most especially the YouTuber known under Boomstick Gaming for failing to uphold these standards." It says, "We take our review process seriously. In most cases, reviewers are expected to play a game's single player or story campaign to completion at least once, as well as spend additional time capturing gameplay to supply content to the video component of our reviews. Though our Dead Cells reviewer played the game and came away with glowing opinions of it, as did many of our other staff members, the review itself was simply not acceptable. We've parted ways with the writer involved in the review, and we will be re-reviewing Dead Cells this week. We will work tirelessly to ensure that, regardless of whether you agree with our reviews, you can have faith that every word is nothing less than the genuine opinion of our critic. Nothing is more important to us than your trust."
I think that's genuine. I mean,
of course it's genuine.
Like, I definitely don't think that anybody had any idea that this dude was doing that shit, and I think that most of the writers at IGN are probably disgusted. You know what I mean?
They are, and that's the thing is like, so this guy basically stabbed them in the back.
Totally.
Like he
made them look like fucking fools, because this reflects badly on IGN. It doesn't reflect badly. I mean, it does, but, people aren't going to think Philip Mewson when they think about this. They're going to think IGN.
They'll think both.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. So speaking on that, Philip Mewson later responded on his YouTube channel.
I didn't see this. Hold up.
So on his YouTube channel, he's saying
What'd he say?
There were, quote, "a lot of circumstances surrounding the review and that the plagiarism was an accident."
Oh, yeah.
He says, quote, "The bottom line is that what happened with the Dead Cells review was not at all intentional," he said. "So with that said, I just want to apologize to everybody at IGN for all the undeserved criticisms and doubt that may have been sparked in their credibility as a respected source of games media." After much criticism for that video, he removed the video from his channel.
What a naughty boy!
So first off, he
should have just owned up to it, man. He should have just pulled a Dave Letterman and just came out and just been like, "Look, guys, I fucked up. My bad.
I'm sorry. And he didn't even apologize to Boomstick Gaming. He was like, I wish him well.
Oh, my God.
It's like,
you just literally
killed yourself.
You were crawling, dying in the industry, through the industry right now, and you just picked up a gun and just finished yourself
you're
off.
Oh my gosh. It's like, how can you be
stupid, dude?
And it's funny because they're bringing up all these past things that he's done. And
I mean, he's obviously not the brightest guy. Obviously somebody's going to draw this connection. You got to think IGN's the biggest platform. What the fuck was he thinking, dude?
He had a Twitter, he posted a quote on Twitter, I think it was 4 years ago when he was doing his YouTube channel. He actually just started working at IGN back in October. So it was a very recent job, So
IGN,
but he
you
got
want some real ones.
He got picked up from YouTube. And so his tweet though was it was a quote about, it's if you play or take the words from one person, it's plagiarism. If you take it from many different people, it's a masterpiece or something like that.
Maybe he should have took it from many different people. Maybe he should have plagiarized a segment of that and a segment of a different video.
No, he shouldn't plagiarize.
I'm just saying, if he was gonna plagiarize, I mean, obviously, when I was in school, I fucking plagiarized the shit out of many.
This isn't school.
Well,
this is a job.
What I'm saying is, if you're gonna do it right. Don't just plagiarize one fucking video. Don't just sit there and change a few words and expect people not to notice.
If one day you ever make a video and there's any similarities, someone's going to come back to this video and just be like, you're a plagiarizer.
I'm not a plagiarizer, though, and you'll never be able to accuse me of that. You know what I mean? Because I'm never going to blatantly plagiarize somebody's shit like that. That's bullshit. But the point is...
Still from multiple sources.
No, I'm not saying I'm going to do that either. But... if you are going to do it, it's like being a murderer or something, If you're going to murder somebody, don't just leave your fucking fingerprints and blood all over the crime scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm getting at, if you're going to do it right. You know what I mean?
He is dumb, but my thing, honestly, I don't think he's dumb. I think what he is he's very... he thinks very highly of himself. He thought to the point that nobody would catch him.
You think his ego was just so big that he's just
If his ego wasn't so big, he wouldn't have been. He would have apologized. You know,
right.
He would have said
you're
I'm sorry.
Goddamn right. He would.
He's just hey guys, everyone's out for me to take me out. I didn't do anything wrong. It was unintentional.
I don't even know what's going on right now.
Who's Philip Music? No, but so my thing with him is he should have done his fucking job. You're getting paid.
Definitely.
And that's the thing. He got picked up in October. He's this brand new guy. They picked him up because he had built up such a good audience on YouTube. And he was probably just stealing all of his shit back then.
Who knows what other shady shit he did to get to this point. You know what I mean? That's what's fucked up. You know what I mean? This is the first time he's been called out on it or whatever. But, it's probably just norm for him.
It'd be one thing to plagiarize factual content, but to have to steal somebody else's opinion, how does that work? It's he couldn't form his own opinion on a game. It's not that he didn't know the facts about the game. It's that he had no emotion towards it. He was
let's give this guy the benefit of the fucking doubt. Let's just assume he actually played the game or some shit, and he's looking through the reviews online trying to find, some source of inspiration. And he probably stumbled upon this dude's shit and liked the way he worded everything and was he liked the way that it was cut together. This is his first job editing the video together, so maybe he was a little nervous and wanted to make sure it looked good. I don't know what the fucking dealio is, but it's just he wasn't ready for that shit. You know what I mean? And he shouldn't have been put in charge of that shit. I don't know. It's just a shame.
Yeah, I think it was a vetting issue as well as him just being a complete moron.
Absolutely. I don't know.
I didn't like him in the
probably
first
was trying
place.
to take a leap of faith with this guy. I feel like, you know what I mean?
No, because they put him as the head editor for their Nintendo content. He was the main host on Nintendo Voice Chat, which I listen to very often, and I hate him. I hated him from the day they put him on there. Back in October, I was like, this guy's...
Why specifically?
His voice is annoying. He was annoying. Everything he said, you could tell his opinions were so fake. Like, now it's even more vindicated. Like, I don't mean to hate on the dude, but I'm hating on this dude because it was so obvious that he didn't really care about what he was doing.
Yeah.
He just wanted, like, that authority. He wanted that, like, position.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He just really got on my nerves. Anyway.
Well, yeah, we don't have to worry about him anymore.
Maybe he'll show back up on YouTube. I feel like that's what he's going to do. He's going to disappear for a while and then come back and try and build his YouTube up
Maybe
again.
we can get him on the show and he can talk about his side of the story.
Yeah,
we need to give him a chance to explain himself.
No, we don't. He plagiarized.
Hey, you know that would be a good episode.
I would totally bring him on. Just like, we should do a roast, a Philip Mewson roast, and we could use the green screen to be up on the stage. We just
tell him we're gonna give him a chance to
be like,
he's gonna listen to this episode. Well, no,
he's not.
No, he's not.
They're gonna like write a joke.
He's probably never gonna do anything with video games ever again. He's probably just gonna.
He's probably like working at like Home Depot or something now. Like, and like people are walking by him and they're like, "Oh, that's that fucking plagiarizer."
See, that's the problem. It's like, it's not just like he fucked up his career in the video game industry. Like, all of journalism is fucked for this guy now. He can't just go work for like fucking Channel 8 News or some shit now. He can't get a fucking job at the Huntsville Item now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
even outside of journalism, they're gonna look at like his work history, or they're gonna Google him and they're like, "Oh wow, this guy fucked up big time. He's famously bad."
Famously bad.
Anyways, so that's it for the news. Let's jump into this week's releases, where we can tell you guys what games you'll be able to purchase. Brand new games you'll be able to purchase in the next few days. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to click on the link here.
It's okay.
There we go. Okay, so we're going to start it off with Track Lab, coming to PSVR on August 21st. I could not find a price for this game. Construct the beat and unleash the music. Enter the virtual space of Track Lab and discover your ultimate untapped talent. The ability to create original music in seconds with no musical training required. Players can create beats from scratch simply by moving musical building blocks around in their virtual environment. Satisfied with your efforts? Mix and combine them on the fly to create full-blown tracks and share them with the world. Cool. And then we got...
That's for PSVR?
I think it's for PSVR.
There's a game that just came out that's exactly like that. And it's by the people who... It's by Survios, probably the best fucking VR game makers right now. They made Raw Data and Sprint Vector.
What's
and
their
shit.
game called?
Oh, man, I can't remember what it's called, but it's not called Track Maker.
No, Track Lab.
Track Lab, yeah, it's not that. It starts with an S. It's like a weird name. It's like
Soundscape.
Salvios or some shit like that. But
that's like their fucking name.
I don't really know. I can't remember what it's called, but it's fucking dope looking, and it looks like the same kind of thing. So they're probably just trying to compete.
And we got Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes coming to Switch on August 16th for $14.99.
That doesn't even fucking make sense that would be on Switch. That's like a VR game where one person is wearing the VR headset, handling a bomb. The other person is looking at the TV screen, telling them how to defuse the bomb with a fucking, like...
I don't know, man.
So
I don't know how
are you going to do that without a VR headset? I mean, maybe you could have one person holding the gamepad.
Joy-Con.
Oh, the Joy-Con. Even then, that wouldn't make sense because it defeats the purpose if the person can see the bomb, you know?
Look, I don't make Switch games, Brent.
You probably need 2 Switches to play it. That's the only thing that would make sense.
Maybe. So Magician Lord is coming to Xbox One on August 16th for $7.99. Free your mystic homeland from the clutches of an evil god as Elta, the last relative of the Magician Lord. Fight your way through the dark legions of the evil god Azators on a quest to recover the 8 books of wisdom that have gone missing. And then we got Shenmue 1 and 2 coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One on August 21st for $29.99. Sega's most requested re-release of all time finally comes to a new generation. Shenmue 1 and 2 delivers an epic story of revenge within a unique open world that is still unrivaled in depth and detail. Then we got State of Mind coming to PC, Xbox One, and PS4 and Switch on August 15th for $39.99. State of Mind is a futuristic thriller game delving into transhumanism, The game explores themes of separation, disjuncture, and reunification in a world that is torn between a dystopian material reality and a utopian virtual future. Employing multiple playable characters in 2 separate game worlds, State of Mind explores the existential drama that develops in a society on the brink of post-material existence. You are Richard Nolan, a father and journalist from Berlin who discovers that he and his wife and son have been subjects to mind uploads. Richard's upload, however, has gone wrong. As a result, he is still living in real-life reality, but an incomplete second version of his self also exists in a secret virtual reality project. And then we got Brawl Out, coming to PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch on August 21st for $19.99. Brawl Out is a fighting game that features lightning-fast action for up to 8 players, set in a vivid world of ancient secrets and endless conflict. Brawl Out puts the future of civilization in the hands or claws of its anthropomorphic animals. As an exemplar chosen to represent their civilization in combat, each creature fights for the honor and pride of their people. And then and then we got Phantom Doctrine coming to PC, Xbox One, and PS4 on August 14th. Couldn't find a price on this one. Presenting an alternate history with a chilling hint of reality, Phantom Doctrine is a strategic turn-based espionage thriller set at the peak of the Cold War. And then we got Destination Primus Vita coming to PC and Mac on August 16th for $7.99. In the year 3044, centuries after an alien race known only as the Shatters devastated Earth and stole nearly all the planet's water, humanity's last hope lies within the intrepid Crew 121. They've set out to reclaim Earth's most precious resource from the alien homeworld of Primus Vita. The crew's arduous fight path consists of 4 years hurtling through space. Instead of whiling away the hours and contemplating the gravity of their mission, the squad is suspended in cryo-sleep. Okay? So, to maintain the team's mental acuity, NIM, their vessel's AI, invents and provides vigorous cognitive tests. So, I guess it's like a puzzle game. Pizza Titan Ultra is coming to PS4 or PC August 21st for $17.99. Pizza Titan Ultra is a fast-paced third-person action platformer focused on fighting and smashing through a futuristic city in a giant mech to deliver pizza. Experience arcadey action with speedy attacking and dodging while attempting to control the massive weight of a 10-story mobile pizzeria. Just try to make it too much of a mess. Or just try not to. And then we got Guacameele 2.
Hey.
Actually,
I kind of liked Guacameele 1. Super Turbo Championship Edition,
yeah,
bro.
Dude. Wasn't it free on, like, everything?
It was free on Xbox Live. I don't even know. Was it on PlayStation? Yeah, it was on PlayStation.
It started on PlayStation, I think.
Bro,
this one's only coming
a fun little co-op game.
Yeah, Guacameele 2 is only coming to PS4 and PC on August 21st for $19.99. 87 years after the events of the original Guacameele, and Juan Aguacate is living a happy life with his family. Suddenly, his friend and trainer, Ue Shivo, discovers a new evil menace that threatens to destroy not only Mexico, but time and space itself. Return to the ring for some luchador beat-em-up action. Guacameele 2 brings back the non-stop fighting and multi-dimensional platforming action that made the original game a breakout hit. And then we got Fern's Gate coming to Vita, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on August 14th for $12.99. Travel to the other side and beyond and find a way back home in the fantasy RPG Fern's Gate. After awakening in unfamiliar woods, Alex, an ordinary high schooler living an ordinary life, learns he has somehow ended up in Fernland, a world dominated by conflict and destruction. Fighting monsters, the ever-ominous threat of the Overlord, and a succession of chaotic events as he tries to find his own place in this new world. Alex comes across Lita, a young woman from a peaceful world like his own. Hitting it off, they soon become friends and set out together, but what hidden truths await them as their adventure begins to unfold? And then we got Red's Kingdom coming to Switch on August 16th for $9.99. Red's Kingdom is a single-player adventure puzzle game for all ages. Mad King Mac has kidnapped your father and stolen your golden nut. Solve puzzles and battle goons as you explore and battle your way through the kingdom. Discover hidden treasure, collect nuts, solve cunning environmental puzzles, and unlock special powers, which allow you to explore deeper into the vast game world. You'll explore amazing and unique areas where there's always something new to discover.
Stop. Always something there to excite me.
I think it's remind.
Yeah, but it doesn't make as much sense.
Always something there to
give me nuts.
I kind of want to listen to that song now.
Yeah.
No, but
we just have it playing in the background on a loop for the whole hour and a half show.
So, that's it for this week's releases. We're gonna go into currently playing. Brent Bass. Tell me what you playing.
I'm gonna tell you all about it, son.
Tell me about it.
Well, first of all, I've been playing that UFC game some more. My first character, I was playing on way too easy of a difficulty, and I fucking beat up 50 people, and I only lost one time, and I was the 2 division champ and shit, So I said, fuck that, I'm gonna make it a little harder. So I started a new character who's a girl, and I'm just getting beat up all the fucking time, dude. I'm just getting my ass just whooped.
Wait, so the difficulty of the game changes based on your gender?
No.
I was like, what?
No, that's so.
I was like, how is that game made today?
Dude, you know what's funny though? In the South Park game, whenever you are picking your skin color, it says choose your difficulty, and you can pick from white to black, and it's easy to hard. It's fucked up.
No, well, I mean, it's kind of it's a commentary. It's a social commentary.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's
in the
funny.
case of,
it's funny how they present it. South Park is always edgy like that, but it was just a good joke. But I don't know. UFC 3 is fun, and the music is really good in it. The music is kind of what makes the game. Have you heard that song, "The Man" by The Killers?
No, not that I know of.
Next time you're just not feeling feeling groovy enough, and you just aren't feeling like the man, listen to that song, dude, and it will just put you in a great mood.
I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. That song?
No, hell no. Oh my God. I've also been playing Dead by Daylight, which is the free game.
Friday the 13th.
For this month. It's allegedly very similar to the Friday the 13th game. It's so much fun that I actually want to try the Friday the 13th game because I'm having so much fun with Dead by Daylight. That being said,
Tag, almost.
It is a lot like Tag, yeah. Except for one person is always it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. My only problem with Dead by Daylight is that literally half of the content is locked behind purchases. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
so
lame.
if you want to play as Michael Myers, that's another cool thing though. I guess as soon as Friday the 13th came out, Dead by Daylight was oh shit, we can use licensed characters. Let's just get every license to every character we can get. So they've got fucking the pig from Saw. They've got a clown that's kind of looks like John Wayne Gacy, but not really. They've got fucking straight up the Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. They've got
is he actually named Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, he's
nice.
legitimately Freddy Krueger. And they got Michael Myers straight up. So they got Jigsaw, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger, which is cool, but you got to buy all of them.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, when you're playing as a survivor online, you can still encounter these killers as your killer. So it's still kind of fun to that's the coolest part about playing as a survivor in the game is you never know what killer you're going to have until you're face to face with them. You know what I mean? And all the killers have different powers. The pig from Saw can put bear traps on you, and they can hide in the corner and jump out at you, and I don't know. Some of them can turn invisible. Some of them can teleport, so every killer has their own little thing. I don't know. I'm really good at playing as the killers. I manage to kill a lot of people most of the time. And as a survivor, I'm horrible. I make noise and get myself killed instantly. I'm just bad at stealth in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I personally really love playing that game. I don't know. It just takes out, all your stress, just chasing people around and shit. It's really enjoyable. And it's free right now. So if you got a PlayStation, I highly recommend getting it. And I probably am going to get Friday the 13th as soon as I have enough money because I want to keep playing it, but I'm kind of want something different, The problem with being a survivor in Dead by Daylight is there's only like one way to win, really. You can either escape out the hatch or you can escape out the door. Apparently, in Friday the 13th, you can like get on a boat and get out of there, or you can like fix a car and get out of there.
Oh, yeah,
you know. So there's like other ways you can win, which is kind of cool.
Other methods.
You know.
Nice.
And let's see. I've been playing a lot of shit this week. I really have. I had a little extra money, and it was on sale for like $3. So I got this game called Floor Plan for PSVR. And the whole game, you're in an elevator, and you go from floor to floor solving puzzles.
Yeah, I think you talked about this on the last one.
I haven't played it, but since the last one.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. You go up and down. You know, every level's got a different theme, you know, and like, I don't know, the puzzles are really fun. Like, there's one level where you're like in a fridge basically, and like you can see your breath, which is really nice. And there's like one level where you're like underwater, you know, like, and you can blow bubbles and shit. I don't know. It's really interesting. The puzzles are really fun. It's really cheap and it looks really good. So, I mean, I recommend it, you know. Definitely worth the $4 or whatever I paid for it, you know. Let's see. I resubscribed to PlayStation Now because I got bored and I was like, I just really wanted to buy a game, but I couldn't afford to. So I was like, I'm just going to get a month of PlayStation Now and just have all the games on PlayStation Now, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been playing a lot of random bullshit like Silent Hill and shit like that, but not enough to where I can really talk about it. But the one game I have been playing a lot of is Rage, like the original Rage.
Is it good?
It's better than I remember it being as a kid. As a kid, it was too hard for me. You know what I mean? Now, as an adult, it's still difficult, but it's not as hard as I remember it being. The main thing that makes it hard is that all the enemies are fast as fuck. They're like running at you, like sprinting, full sprint at you. You know what I mean?
Is this like a remastered Rage? Or is
no, it's like the original Rage. However, the original Rage actually looks pretty damn good. It looks about as good as like Far Cry 3. You know what I mean?
No way.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Like, check it out. I mean, it's not as good as Far Cry 3, but it's damn close. Like, if you were to watch both, like, I don't know. I'm surprised because, like, I went back expecting it to look all blocky and shitty, and it looks pretty good.
That's crazy.
And that's also considering that it's being streamed from PlayStation Now onto my fucking PlayStation, you know? So I'm sure if I had, like, the disc version, it would look even better. You know what I mean? But I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's like a really big, over-the-top fucking game. It's got a lot of traces of, like, Borderlands with, like, the vehicles. There's a lot of vehicle action. There's
Fallout.
Yeah, it's kind of got Fallout traces, but it's, I don't want to say it's linear, you know, because you can really go wherever you want in the world. You know what I mean? It's a lot like Borderlands, but, like, more realistic, not as much cell shading going on. You know what I mean? Fucking pretty hard. I don't know. It's a fun game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The weapons are a lot of fun. Like, there's, like, nail guns and shit like that you get. So, I don't know.
Just experimental shit.
And ammo types. It's got a whole lot of ammo types. You know what I mean? Like, the nail gun, you can change it to, like, a rail spike or, like, a fucking, like, a plasma cannon thing. And, like, the pistols, you can put different types of pistol ammo in. Shotguns, same thing, you know. I don't know. It's a lot of diverse weaponry and vehicles and stuff. It's fun.
Nice.
But I haven't, like, again, I need to play more of it. You know what I mean?
Before you make any decisions.
I am getting a little more excited about Rage 2, though, especially with how good Rage looks, like the original Rage. I'm kind of surprised it flew under the radar as much as it did. You know?
I don't think it did. I think just a lot of people didn't like it.
I know a lot of people didn't like it. You know what I mean? But, like, going back to it, it's not as bad as people made it out to be, you know?
Yeah, but, I mean, I guess, like, you had, like, Fallout 3 around that time, right? It was around the same time.
Yeah,
so
but it also looks way better than Fallout 3. Like, it makes Fallout 3's graphics look terrible. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I'm sure, but Fallout 3 is a far better game.
Oh, totally. But at the same time, it's just not a bad game, you know?
And plus, you know, like, whenever you drop a game that looks very similar to a game that's already out that's super popular, people just assume it's a knockoff, even though it's made by, like,
I think that's
the same
big
company.
problem, is that people put it side by side to Fallout because it's in that wasteland environment. But really, they should be thinking about it like Mad Max, because all of the inspiration is, like, obviously Mad Max. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, lots of vehicles. So I've been playing as I have the past couple weeks, Super Mario Odyssey. I don't know. You're not gonna be able to see it. I'm just gonna have to like upload it into the video. But I now have 803 moons.
Good God!
Like I don't think you understand. Like it sounds like, oh, you're not playing any games, but I'm putting hours into this daily.
803 moons. That's insane.
Yeah.
There's only like 900 in the game, so you're really like scraping the hard ones now. Huh?
Oh yeah, I'm getting close. Well, there's 999.
Oh shit,
yeah,
boy!
If you include all the ones in the shops.
That's tight that they put that many in there.
Yeah.
For those of you that haven't played Mario Odyssey but are familiar with like Mario 64, these are basically like
stars.
Yeah.
But there's a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
Like
but you have to kind of do the same kind of challenges, like beat somebody in a foot race, you get a moon. You know, you do something like that, you get a moon. You know, like
there's a couple that are just like pissing me off right now. That like it's gonna take a miracle for me to beat them. Like it's like a jump rope, timing jump rope thing where it's like you got to get 100 of them, or 100 jump ropes or jump rope skips in a row without fucking up. And there's like 100 where you have to
get a rhythm down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it gets so fast that it's like
it changes speed.
Yeah.
It's like that fucking game from Mario Party where you got to jump over the fireballs.
Exactly.
You remember that?
Yeah, it's exactly that. Except for you're in Mario physics, so like you can move around and stuff. And then there's like a volleyball one that you have to get 100 back and forth. But you have to hit it with Cappy, and so like, and it picks up speed as well. So it's just really annoying. But I'm having fun with it, even though I'm annoyed.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So let's move into the topic of the show, which this week we're doing video game rentals, and just video game rental stores in general, like the old. Like 90s, early 2000s. I mean, I'm sure it goes back to the 80s and 70s, but just from our memory of it, I wanted to start out with, Brent, what was the game that you rented the most during these days? Actually, you know what? Before we jump into that, let's jump into rental stores. Where was your hangout? Where was your go-to rental store for video games?
For those of you out there that aren't from Huntsville, Texas, we are from Huntsville, Texas, and it's a relatively small town. We grew up.
Correct.
We had a Blockbuster.
Movie gallery.
We had a movie gallery. Oh, I forgot about movie gallery. Holy shit.
I
never went to movie gallery. You know?
It wasn't that great.
It wasn't that great compared to Blockbuster and Hastings. Movie gallery just didn't have it going on.
Yeah,
you know?
And with the Hastings, we had like a small one, and then it moved, and then we had a giant Hastings.
Hastings is another one of those things that if you're like one of our younger listeners, or if you just didn't have a Hastings in your town growing up, Hastings is basically like a fucking Blockbuster and a Barnes and Nobles and a Starbucks just fucked and made like one store.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? It was awesome, man. Everybody in our town hung out at Hastings. You know, you'd go rent a game and you'd like run into people you haven't seen in forever. You know, it was like the community spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even before it was in the big one, like you could go, like I think we were real young at that time. We had like Pokemon, like Saturday morning. You could go and like battle Pokemon cards. Like they had the trading card.
And it wasn't just like a community of people like playing I mean, it was, but like you could go win badges and shit.
Yeah, they had like
you could
pins.
win prizes.
Yeah.
Like it was cool, dude.
It was pretty dope. It was back whenever Pokemon was all the rage. Like I'm talking
totally.
Like
all the rage. Like
yes.
But yeah, you were talking about you mentioned a minute ago like games I rented a lot as
a
kid.
First off, I want to know which one was your place. Where was your go-to
Hastings.
as a kid? Hastings?
All day, every day.
For rentals?
For everything.
Okay, yeah.
For everything.
Yeah, Blockbuster was too expensive, I felt. They didn't have many options.
Blockbuster was too expensive, and when I was little, I'm not going to lie, my mom took this video back to Blockbuster, right? And they claimed that like we never brought it back. So we accrued this like $1,000,000,000 late fee, and we just kind of said fuck Blockbuster altogether.
Yeah, that's a whole thing I want to talk about is late fees. Like,
well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so like I remember I lost like 2 accounts at Hastings due to that, like just keeping a game out for too long.
Oh yeah.
And then it like whenever you're a kid, you ain't got money to go and pay that shit off.
No, hell no.
And your parents are like, I ain't paying for that. And it's like, so
that's when you got to get your friend to like help you out renting a game.
Yep.
I promise I'll take it back on time.
It's like, dude, don't ruin my credit here.
But your credit at the video store was serious back in the day, man. Like it wasn't like,
It was, because I mean, like, if you couldn't rent games, you just had to buy outright games. Like, that was it. Like, those were your options.
And it wasn't like you just, like your Netflix would shut off. Like, you would start building up these fees. You know what I mean? And like, you'd get back, then like time to return it, and they'd be like, "Oh, you owe $47 in late fees."
And it was like a $10 movie tops.
That's what was cool about Hastings, though, is they would let you like pay off your late fee in chunks if you wanted to.
Yeah,
like I would rent my shit, and I'd be like, "Here, I'm gonna pay $5 on my late fees," and they'd be cool with that. They'd be like, "Okay,"
as long as you had returned the
exactly.
But yeah, so like renting is like a thing that's just gone. It's.
I mean, there's Redbox, but even that is
it's not the same.
It's not the same, especially with like modern games. Like back in the day, you could just rent a game, take it home, pop it in, play. Nowadays, you rent a game, you take it home, you pop it in, you download it for a day. And then you play it. So these one-day fucking rentals from Redbox don't cut it. I feel like the first day should be free because you got to fucking download it all day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, see, that was the thing. Okay, so back in the day, you go to Hastings, or you go to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, wherever the hell you're getting games from. You go in, you got these shelves that just kind of like line. They're like basically just little tiny shelves going down like the middle of the store.
It's my fucking happy place, bro.
Oh yeah, dude. Like the nostalgia is real. And so like you just walk down, you look on your left, you see all the Xbox games. You look on your right, you see all the PS2 games. You go a little further down, and this tiny little chunk of GameCube games.
Tiny.
Yeah. And before this, you had like your N64 and all this stuff. And a lot of the times you could still rent. You could even rent consoles.
Oh, that's one of the things I got written down. Like I would rent entire N64s. Like before I had an N64, that's why my grandparents got me one, because I would always beg my parents to take me up to the fucking game store and rent an N64, and it was relatively cheap. I mean, it was only like $20 a week or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Versus paying for the whole thing.
And that's another thing. Games, like, okay, renting a game at Hastings back in the day when I was a kid was $7 for the week, right? Which is pretty reasonable. Like $1 a day, like Redbox, basically. You know what I mean?
It was like $7.99-ish.
Yeah, $7.99. But it was far and away the best way to experience a brand new game. Like, say, like We Happy Few, for example. I would love to try that game. I've heard mixed reviews, so I want to try it for myself and experience it for myself, but I don't want to commit to paying a $60 price tag. That was what was great about renting back in the days, because I could rent these games even for 2 weeks if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And it would still be reasonable to like try the game, get all I could experience out of the game. In 7 days, dude, I can finish most games.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you get plenty of time. But whenever you're a kid, you don't have a job or anything.
Exactly.
So
I was about to say, as a kid, it was even,
And that was the thing, like, you could, so you rent out the game for a week or whatever, you take it back up at the end of the week, and you're like, I want to do it again. Like the thing is, it's not like they had the actual games sitting out on the shelves. Like you have these little like placeholders that you would take, and if there wasn't like a little empty jewel case, you couldn't rent the game. Which would suck. Like if you planned your whole week, like, oh dude, this weekend I'm gonna go get fucking, whatever, like you go up there, say you want to get worms for some reason, and they don't have it, you're just out of luck. You got to pick something else. And that was another thing. Like it just gave it this like feeling of like, okay, this is important, or like it made you appreciate the game that you had.
You could also keep an eye on how well games were doing in that respect. Like you could go to the game store and see what games people were playing, because like there wouldn't be any copies of those games left on the store shelf.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you could tell when a game was hot when it first came out, because you go to rent it and there'd be like 40 copies of it on the shelf, and like all of them would be rented. You know what I mean?
And that's a whole nother aspect of that type of world that we were in at that time. Like you could go in and talk to somebody, be like, hey, what's a good game? Or like, hey, have you played this? You can't ask the Redbox, You know, like, hey, what do you think about this game?
No, you can't.
And it's like, yeah, you could go on the internet and search this, but it's so much better to just like talk to somebody and like hear their personal experience. Like it's someone that you're used to seeing up there.
I feel like you got more raw, like, inside information about games back in the day, because everybody like had to either subscribe to a fucking magazine to like get their reviews or fucking play it themselves. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Or like traverse the Wild West internet. You know?
Dude, the internet was crazy back then.
That, like just cheat CC and like it's just fucking crazy to me. One thing I wanted to talk about was like exclusives that they have at like different ones. Like mainly Blockbuster. Even though they were more expensive and I didn't really care to go there, they had this option that whenever Pokemon Snap came out, you could go and print out your pictures at Blockbuster.
Oh my god, I remember that.
And like that
Pokemon Snap was my jam, dude. We're talking you want to talk about games I rented all the time?
Oh yeah.
Fucking Pokemon Snap, dog. I was obsessed with that game.
Yeah,
like,
I remember. I remember you being obsessed with that game, and it's just like it was so magical. That game was.
It really was. I still love that game. Like, I don't know why. I don't even know why.
Because it was like the first 3D step for Pokemon. We had never seen Pokemon in their like natural environment in 3D.
But I don't hold the same kind of feelings towards like Pokemon Stadium or something like that.
Well, that's because it wasn't open. It wasn't, and it didn't have that connection to like say Blockbuster where you could go and print it out. It was more interactive in that way. Like,
I think maybe it has something to do with like maybe I have some kind of like lust to be a photographer, even though I know I could never like do that. I don't have the eye for it.
That would be cool, actually.
But I really enjoy the idea of it, so maybe that's why I like Pokemon Snap so much. As a kid, I really liked the idea of it too. I would always run around with a camera trying to take pictures that would look cool, but.
Well, see, I mean, we're learning as we go, so that could still be a possibility, man.
Dude, a modern Pokemon Snap would be sweet, even though I'd probably be the only person that was into it.
I don't think you were the only person.
No, I mean, like, I think I'd be the only person into a modern one. You know?
You think
I mean?
So? I think there's a shit ton of people.
I feel like we've gotten to the point where that wouldn't appeal to people having like an on the rails game. Like,
if they made it like, and they wouldn't even have to do on the rails.
I would want it on the rails because I feel like it took a lot of the like that's kind of what made it fun. Is like you missed your picture. And you see the good shot going away in the distance, and you're like, fuck, I missed that picture. I got to go back and get that picture next time. So, like, the next time you drive past that spot, you're waiting for it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And, you're looking in a different direction. And, like, I don't know. It's interesting because, like, you'll see different things every time. I don't know. They did such a good job of, like, diverting your attention one way. So the next time you came through, you'd see a whole different type of shit going on behind you, you know?
Wow.
I feel like it'd be a good VR game.
I feel like you should be the spokesperson for Pokemon Go Switch.
You mean Pokemon Snap?
No, Pokemon Snap Switch. But yeah, so back to the exclusives. There was like Clay Fighter 63 1/3 Sculptor's Cut that only came to Blockbuster. The game's worth like an insane amount of money now.
It only came to Blockbuster?
Yeah, they had exclusive titles that
was
were
it just the Sculptor's Cut? Because I know I played Clay Fighter from Hastings.
It was just the Sculptor's Cut.
Because when I would rent the N64, I would always get Clay Fighter with it for some reason. Yeah,
Clay Fighter 63 1/3 was sold everywhere.
Yeah.
But Sculptor's Cut was only sold there, and it came with like you could play as like the Statue of Liberty and like a couple of other characters that were like added in, and it was just like a better version of the game.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. But so that was a pretty cool aspect of it, and like what you were talking about earlier. Or I think you mentioned it, like whenever you would get a game that didn't work or like unreadable disc, it was like the worst thing in the world. Like, so because your parents aren't going to drive you back into town that night,
Oh man, that was devastating.
Hated that, dude. I remember. I think I got Jade Empire. I believe that was the game.
That's sad, bro.
I went home.
It's a good game.
And like put in my Xbox. couldn't read the disc. It kept trying it, and and I wanted to ask you, what was your method for fixing scratches, or like fixing an unreadable disc back in the rental days?
Oh man, well I was a kid. I would probably never do this now, but I used to put toothpaste on the scratches and like buff it into the CD to like fill in the cracks. And for
how would you buff it? Like
like a T-shirt. Like I'd rub it real hard until it like kind of was disappeared.
And it would work for you.
I mean, more or less. I mean, it didn't like work great, but I had a really scratched up copy of Vice City, and every time I would put toothpaste on it, I could get it to play for a few hours.
So, okay, this is a 100% true fact that this happened, and this happened a lot. Me and my brother, AJ, we found out that if you throw the game into the toilet and you flush the toilet, the game would work.
No fucking way.
100%.
Did it work?
It worked almost every time. Like there were a few instances where it didn't work. The game was just too fucked.
You nasty.
But like,
no wonder it's too fucked, dude. What the fuck?
No. I'm talking about like we'd rent it and it would be too fucked. Like,
oh, what? That probably just washes it off. You could probably have achieved the same thing by like.
No, we tried washing it and
or
everything first, but like something about flushing a game in the toilet.
It's got to be the running water going against it or something.
I don't know. Maybe
the film of shit that goes into the cracks.
I feel bad for whoever rented certain games after we rented them.
Oh, that really makes me question some of the games I've rented. Like, how many toilets has this game been in? Where did you hear that? Like,
I don't know. I don't remember where, but it became like a thing that we did. And recently, very recently.
Did you do it recently? Does it still work?
Yes. I can't remember who I was with, hanging out with, I think. But we threw a game in the toilet, and whenever we took it out, it worked. I don't know what it is.
That's fucking wild.
These are
dude.
Clean toilets, okay? I mean, they're as clean as a toilet is, but like it's not like we were just throwing it into piss water, But it's still funny to me that was like our way of doing that. But anyways, yeah, anybody who's listening or watching, you should comment like how you used to fix the scratches on your disc, or how you still fix scratches on your disc if you still buy them.
So I got to talk about this. Like with every video game rental store, there comes a video or a movie rental store. They were kind of one and the same.
Yeah.
And so do you remember back in the day going to Hastings and getting the free rentals of the kids' movies?
Yes, I do actually. That was I don't know. That wasn't towards the end, was it? That was
that was when they were in the old spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Actually, I think they might have still had the free rentals after they moved, but I was a kid. When I was a kid, I watched the freaking Uncanny X-Men, like all of them for free, dude. Every single like cartoon they had out of the X-Men back in the day, I watched that shit on just for free from.
Dude,
that was so next level to me to just get to rent all that shit for free, because my parents were like, "It's free, just rent as many as you want." I'd get all of them, dude. I'd have the whole collection of X-Men, dude.
I don't think you understand how nostalgic this episode is making me. Like, I just want to go and get like an American Tell and like just fucking stream it and like. Can you imagine just watching American Tell
dude.
with
everyone? Going west and shit, dude.
Oh, dude.
Sorry, guys. Sometimes we just have to have like a nostalgia-fueled episode for us. You know what I mean? Like this
on a tangent.
Oh man, I love talking about like old stuff like this. It's like a relic. Like our younger listeners might not even have ever been in one, or at least not been in one while they were like old enough to comprehend what's going on,
Yeah, or at least for rental to be a relevant thing.
Yeah.
Because like Hastings was around not too long ago, but like it wasn't the rental behemoth,
No.
It was just like a place that you could buy vinyls.
It's basically Spencer's.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It was a lot different back then,
At the end of Hastings Lifestyle, it was more of a bookstore than anything.
It was, yeah.
Life Cycle, not Lifestyle.
It was like a half price books or whatever.
Yeah.
One other thing, or two other things we need to do: your first midnight release and pre-order, and then game rented the most. What do you got for this?
Oh man, midnight releases. Okay, like I was younger, my parents wouldn't let me go to many midnight releases, but they did let me go to all the Harry Potter releases.
I remember that
happened at Hastings. This isn't exactly related to like, movie stores specifically. But, dude, that shit was so tight. Like, you would go, and everybody be dressed up in the fucking cosplay, the Harry Potter cosplay. Everybody had their wand and their fucking butterbeer. They'd be serving butterbeer in that bitch, and everybody be playing Quidditch. It was, like, the most magical shit ever. There was a genuinely incredible feeling knowing you were about to read an entirely new Harry Potter book. Like, it's so sad that you'll probably never... get to experience that again, you know what I mean? Like, now that they're all out, you never get to, like, oh, shit, the next book's gonna be tight, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it just goes straight to Amazon.
That was truly a magical feeling, like, waiting for the midnight release of the Harry Potter books was like, oh. And then I think maybe I went to Halo midnight release, Halo 2.
Yeah, that's the one that I was going to talk about. Halo 2 was my first pre-order that I ever did at a video rental store, and I just remember like back then you had to like hold on to your receipt if you wanted to get it. Like if you lost your receipt, you ain't getting your game, man. And like so I just remember getting off of school and like just being like, tonight's the night, and I knew I wasn't gonna get to play it that night because it was gonna be midnight, and by the time I got home I would have to go to bed, but I just knew that I was gonna have the game for the next day, so I was like excited.
This isn't really nostalgia fueled or anything, but that most recent 3DS Smash Bros. I had so much fun at that midnight release. That was a really good time.
It was. I miss midnight releases. It gives you a reason to stay up.
Yeah, for sure. Especially the Smash Bros. Midnight release. It was like everybody got it, and everybody was playing it on their DS together and stuff right there. Like it was cool.
It was just a giant social event.
It really was. Like,
but yeah. So. One other thing, like hiding games and stuff like that. Do you remember doing that? Like,
oh, dude, yeah,
hiding rentals.
You'd hide the. Well, you'd hide the. You know how you're talking about the plastic box that you need to rent the game?
Yeah,
like, you'd hide that and make it look like it had already been rented. What I would do, here's the trick. You'd get the plastic game and then you'd put it behind some shitty game like Barbie Adventures or something where nobody would ever like actually take the game.
Oh yeah.
That's the trick. You hide it behind Barbie Adventures. And if you can't find a game you're looking for, you look behind all the shitty games. You know what I mean? Because somebody else probably hid that shit. You know what I mean? Like
that's true. Because like the little jewel case was still there with like the art on it. It's just like you would just.
Do you remember way back in the day when Hastings didn't have the jewel cases? They had the fucking like paper cards on the front of every box, and you took the card.
You just took the little card.
Dude, I would rent. Oh man, well I guess that's the next thing we were gonna talk about. But
one other thing about like dang it, I had something that was like, whenever you were talking about hiding the games, I wanted to talk about, like, I remember renting the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on the N64, and the saved game was already, they had beat the game, and so, like, I just wanted to, like, I went into that save file. Do you remember whenever you would get a game and it already had save files?
Yes.
Like, you could see the end game before you would, like, get there. I would always love fucking with that. Like,
pre-GameCube, that was, like, a big fucking deal.
Oh, yeah. Any cartridge-based game, like, the saves are in the cartridge. So
that was such a revolution whenever PS1 and GameCube started doing the fucking, like memory cards, man.
Oh yeah, memory cards made it pointless. But I feel like that was a time that, like, I still get very nostalgic for that. Like, getting a game and seeing that somebody else had already gone through it. And I still get that with my 3DS actually.
Because it's some Pokemon games.
Yeah, it's so cool to see that. But anyways, go ahead.
Do you remember the snacks from the rental stores?
Oh, of course, dude.
That's what I loved. Like when you're checking out from Blockbuster and you'd get that like paper popcorn tub and like pop the shit right in the fucking tub. And, like, oh man, I fucking love movie rental store snacks. Like
it's sad that it's a time it just doesn't exist anymore.
It
but
really
it was
is.
Like you would get your stuff and then you go through the line and like maybe or maybe not your parents would let you get a snack.
Yeah, if you were good.
And if not,
that's my thing. My parents would always reward my behavior with like video game rentals. If I did good, if I fucking like aced a test or some shit, I'd be like, "Can I rent a movie?" or rent a game, you know? And they'd be like,
that face. They're like, do it before he makes that face again. It's intense. But tell me about your most rented game.
Man, definitely the most rented game of all time for me is Super Smash Bros. For the N64. I used to rent that game so much that like they kept a copy in the back, and I'd go up and there wouldn't be the fucking card in the game, and I'd go over there and I'd be like, "Can I have the one that's in the back?" And they'd be like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So I don't know, I love that game. I rented it so much that like the guy stopped my mom one day and he was like, "Look." It's like, you rent this for him, like, every week. You know, you could have bought it, like, twice by now if you wanted to. You know, like, they basically talked my mom into buying it for me.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Dude, that's legit.
It was pretty legit.
It's back, and the people were just nice and cared. You know, they're like, that kid's, you know, he's into some good stuff.
Oh, man.
Now, like, I rented a lot of stuff that was cartridge-based, that my memory is very bad. Like, I can't really remember specifics. So, like, the most recent memories that I have of it were Jedi Outcast.
Oh, yeah. Jedi Outcast was a good one.
Yeah, I rented that so much just because of the multiplayer. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved the way the lightsabers worked in that game and, like, using the Force, and I loved finding holocrons. I loved the single player so much, and then I would get AJ to play with me, you know, like, on the multiplayer and just, like, kick his ass, and like I love doing that.
I rented Fallout 3 2 weeks in a row back to back when it first came out because I couldn't finish like the main story in time.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So I had to rent it again.
You have to. What I mean? Well, yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe you were renting back that recent Fallout
3, man. It's not that far back. That's like, I mean, that's like, I remember being in high school having like Gears of War parties at our friend Joey's house, and that's the first time I ever played Fallout 3 was at one of those events. So I mean, Fallout 3's been out for a hot minute, like at least since like 2007 or earlier.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know, right? Maybe 2008. I'm not sure, but either way, it's around that time. You know what I mean? Pre-2010 for sure.
But yeah, so that's about it for video game
rental. One
more.
I used to rent Dead Rising all the time. I would always be renting that. I don't know why. I still really enjoy the Dead Rising series, but I was like constantly renting Dead Rising back in the day.
I think it's because it was an open world.
Yeah, there was a lot to do.
Yeah,
it kept me entertained, especially for like its time. You know what I mean? Like compared to other stuff of that time, it was like so much freedom. You know, you could put on whatever clothes you want. There's something magical about finding some cool shit in one of the stores, too, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I think what made Dead Rising was so great wasn't the fact that you were, like, fighting the zombies or whatever. It was the fact that it gave you the ability to, like, go ransack a fucking mall. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to just go into a mall while nobody's there and just take everything.
Play with all the stuff.
Yeah, just run through the mall fucking going crazy. That's what Dead Rising allows you to do. I think that's what made me so into it.
Back when Capcom was still good on their game, man.
Capcom's still good on their game?
No, I'm saying like they went through that little phase of like, they're like right in between.
Yeah, but they're back, bro.
That's all that matters.
They're back on their game.
As long as you're back, they would never gone. No, but yeah. So that's it for video game rentals. Let us know some of your stories and some of your memories and like the things that you loved about renting games, if you have, or if you have any stories on them. And we're going to move on to the people's champion, the champion of the people.
Oh, yes, the people champ.
Brent, who in the world is this week's people's champ?
Bear with me for 1 second. My shit takes forever to pop up on my screen.
I am a bear, and I am bearing.
Okay, here we go. One.
The video just drops it.
Let's see. Okay, so the people's champ this week is going to be Jeffrey.
Jeffrey,
you're doing great this year, Jeffrey. You got a lot of people's champs under your belt. Lewis.
Jeffrey Lewis.
Jeff Lewis.
Jeff Lou.
J Lou. JL. J. As playable maps get bigger, how would you feel about a game set in Texas? We have almost every demographic, and if they set it in the South to mid-Texas, do you think people would have issue with there being recognizable settings and buildings? I don't think anybody would care about recognizable settings and buildings.
I think the new Grand Theft Auto is going to be in Houston.
That would be sweet.
That's my guess. I've heard that Rockstar was spotted in Houston, like I think it was like a year or two ago. And people were like, why is Rockstar like taking pictures and stuff in Houston? Grand Theft Auto.
That would be cool, man. But honestly, that could also have something to do with Red Dead or something. I actually think Red Dead 1 was set in Texas for the most part.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but I know you go across the border into Mexico at one point in the game, and I'm not sure if it was set in Texas or California, but
I think it was California. But the thing is I think he's wanting like a modern day Texas with like.
And I would be cool with that. I'm just not sure what you do. Like, I guess Grand Theft Auto would be the most appealing way to explore Texas.
Yeah.
And I think you could really inflate Texas culture to be hilarious in a Grand Theft Auto type game. You know what I mean? Like mechanical bulls and rodeos and shit like that. You know what I mean?
People
like
just riding horses down the highway.
Yeah, just stupid shit. Like you could really make it like dumb and funny. You know what I mean? Like
get a lasso.
But I think it would be great, man. But the thing is, what recognizable settings and buildings would there even be? Like, I guess the Alamo. You could have the Alamo. That's
about it. What else is in Texas? What matters?
I mean, Houston is just like a fucking hodgepodge of giant buildings that aren't really like important. Like none of them are like, oh, that's the Houston blah 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 building. You know what I mean? Like,
but he is right about the demographics though. So like, you could go into Austin and have like all the like hippie.
You could have a game like The Crew where you can drive from like one end of Texas to the other. That's one thing about Texas that's also pretty cool is there's it's so huge that there's like different climates and plains. Like there's the hill country, there's the flat, areas in Texas. You go high enough north, you probably even run into a little snow in the middle of winter. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think you could make a really cool, diverse landscape.
Or a Far Cry game.
Ooh, Far Cry. Especially seeing how well it did in Montana. Although the only problem with that would be it would be very similar to
Montana. Yeah. That's sad. They should have went with Texas.
They should have. It would have been a lot better.
Stupid Montana. but yeah. So let's move on to listener questions. Thank you, Jeff Liu.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Let's see. Thank you, Jeff. We've got Justin Walker. He says, any news on the Elder Scrolls 6? Well, not really. Not since E3. I don't know if you're well-versed on what happened at E3, but they name-dropped it, but they didn't really give us any deets.
They didn't even name-drop it. They just gave, like, the number.
They really didn't. Yeah, they just did. So I don't think we're going to get any kind of information about Elder Scrolls 6 until Starfield drops. You know what I'm saying?
Next gen. They even said it's going to be next gen.
Yeah.
So.
Starfield, I don't think we're going to even see Starfield for like 3 years. They said they're about 3 years into development for Starfield, but they want it to be like crazy, and like I think when they say that, I think they want it to be like crazier than like Fallout 4 and like Skyrim and all that shit. So I really think they're gonna put a lot of time into making it insane. You know what I mean? Like they've got full studios like working on it and shit. So
I say expect Elder Scrolls 6 in probably 6 years,
maybe even longer, dude. Honestly. I want to say 10 years. That's my guess.
Oh, no. It's not going to be 10 years.
We'll have this podcast still going by then.
We'll be 10 years older and like, oh, man. I can't even imagine. But
yeah, so there you go. Let's see. We got Chad McClain, the boy.
Hey,
Chad.
I was wondering where you went.
Yeah, he says, what is your opinion on the new gameplay for Red Dead Redemption 2? Also, have you missed me?
Of course, Chad.
Bro.
I reached out to Chad recently because I hadn't heard from him in a while on the messages. I was like, yo, dude, you alive?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, Chad's
been with us since fucking day one.
Man.
Since the best. He's just the best, man. We go back.
He's the reason we have a people's champ.
Dude.
He's the champion.
It used to be Chad's corner. I say this all the time.
He's the humble guy that was just like, no, man, don't make it about me.
Yeah, we had it named after Chad.
he's like, for the betterment of your show. He's like, make it about everyone. You're like, oh, you're right. but at the same time,
what
so
a selfless guy.
Yeah.
You know? But no, Chad, to answer your question, I have seen the gameplay for Red Dead Redemption 2. And personally, I think it looks fucking awesome. I mean, I think it looks exactly like I thought it was going to look, like just a really beautiful Red Dead game. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of cool features and shit they talked about, you know, but for the most part, it's what I thought I was getting myself into. You know what I mean?
They got more coming. That's the thing, is like this is just part one of like the gameplay videos.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty excited to see what else they've got to offer.
It looks beautiful, man. It really does.
What was it? It's so you're gonna be playing as Arthur Morgan.
Right. Part of the gang that John Marston, the protagonist from the first game, the Vanderling gang, yeah.
And so basically you're like a senior gun. You're like the heavy hitter in the gang. And so apparently you're having like an existential crisis after all these years. So like you kind of get the option in the game to either be evil or good. Like everything is based on options. You know, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they had a lot of videos of like, you know, like situations you could defuse or escalate by like talking to the people you're walking by, or even just like waving at passerbys and they wave back at, you know, like shit like that.
Neighbor.
It was really cool. Like there was a scene where like he rolls up on this group of people and they're like robbing this you know, couple. And, like, they turn around, and they're like, you need to get out of here. And he's like, hey, man, I don't want any trouble. And he, like, you know, and they're like, okay. And they turn back and kind of ignores him. You know, it's cool because you can talk your way into and out of situation. I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want to do, man.
You know, they have a similar thing going on like that with that Spider-Man game that's coming out. Did you see the gameplay for Spider-Man?
I didn't. I'm not too stoked for that. I just don't care.
It looks good, man. It really does. Like,
does it?
Yeah. Like they have a similar thing where you like walk around the streets and you can like interact with people. You know. Let's see.
Neighbor.
Hey there, neighbor. So we got Dylan Parton here with another question. He says,
Dylan.
Since I'm coming to you hot from, I threw the hot in there. Since I'm coming to you hot from California right now, even though I am not the biggest fan of the Fallout series, I think that Fallout 5 setting here would be in itself pretty fun. If you took the fact that it's one big-ass fault line and the nukes would rupture it and turn it into a big chain of islands, I think that's something we could get a big new element of gameplay out of. I mean, we already have to craft weapons. How about a fucking Waterworld-style raft? I actually like that idea a lot. I think that would be really neat.
Yeah, like you just travel between each island.
Yeah, and like the only problem with that is if you can't have the Fallout world work like that, because California is known to still exist in Fallout's universe because the NCR, the New California Republic, exists.
I like how you
therefore
actually Dylan. No, you're like actually.
Well, I mean, you know, it would make sense, first of all, to go to California and explore the NCR, and they haven't explicitly said that California is still there. So I mean, like, I guess you could do a game with the island idea, but you would still have to incorporate the NCR and the existing lore. You know what I mean? That's the problem. New Vegas took place too close to California. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much. They talk about it too much. You know?
Yeah, I like Dylan's science too. Like,
it just turns into like islands. That would be sick, dude. Like, I wish that would just happen. Like, California would just turn into like 5 islands. Like, that would be sweet. Like Hawaii.
You want that to happen?
I don't know. I mean, why not?
In real life, or
changes.
I just really want a nuke to fall on.
No, okay. I don't want California to get nuked. I just want like maybe a big.
We're learning a lot about Brent Bass.
A big earthquake or something, you know, that like and nobody gets hurt really. Yeah.
It's like a soft earthquake.
Yeah, maybe just do like a Pangea type thing where it like very slowly floats apart from itself.
Yeah, it takes like 4 months.
Yeah, so like everybody's like, whoa, look at whoa.
Don't stand over there.
Better get back. You know, maybe it'd be cool if it destroyed a few houses or something, but I don't want anybody's like life to get hurt.
Yeah, I feel that. I like that. I like that. Friendly Pangea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys.
Is that it for listener questions?
That's it.
All right, so we are going to wrap up the show, this week's show, with Brent's segment, This Week in Gaming History.
Okay, guys. This week in gaming history, on August 15th of 2000.
Okay, hold up. August 15th, 2000. What console?
PS1.
Metal Gear.
Mm-mm.
Spyro the Dragon. Am I get warmer?
Mm-mm.
Okay, colder. So I'm gonna go with one last shot.
It got a 94 on Metacritic. It's a sequel, but the original game wasn't on PlayStation 1.
What was it on?
SNES, I think. Maybe NES. I think SNES though.
I don't know. What is it?
Chrono Cross.
Oh, come on. I would have never thought of that.
It actually came out the year before in Japan, but this is the North America release.
I didn't know Chrono Cross did that well in reviews.
Yeah, it was very well received.
Wow. Cool. So
also, this is another one. I got another one for you.
Let's hear it.
On August 15th, 1996.
Hold up. What console?
This one isn't a game. This is an event.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead.
The first ever QuakeCon took place.
Holy shit, that long ago?
1996. I'll tell you a couple fun facts about it. The first event in August 1996 was held at the Best Western Hotel in Garland, Texas, a mile or two away from the ID Software Company offices. Starting with just 30 people, by the end of the weekend, the number of people had grown to 100 as news of the gathering began to spread on internet chat networks. The Best Western has since been replaced by a La Quinta Inn. Attendees who had brought their computers along to the event set up a small impromptu network in one of the hotel meeting rooms, mostly playing Quake 1 and Doom, testing their deathmatching skills. A small tournament was held, and the winners took home T-shirts as prizes. The highlight of this first gathering came on the eve of the last day when the entire ID software team showed up at the event in a surprise and a most welcome visit, stopping by to chat with the participants. John Carmack, lead programmer for Doom/Quake, participated in a 30-45-minute group chat with attendees on the porch of the hotel. Some ideas discussed during that chat eventually made it into Quake's future public releases. This became known as Carmack's Talk and grew into a yearly keynote speech that lasted through 2013. So
that is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
It's like it's just crazy to think how long this industry's been around and been doing things that we see now.
It really is 1996. That's amazing.
I was 4 years old. It just blows my mind. And they're having death match.
And they're still doing it. They still have the freaking tournament every year. And there's an annual, they have the record for the most wins ever and shit.
Do you think
so cool.
The guys that the first 30 people that were there that one time are the guys that showed up and started setting up connections?
Bro, they're probably celebrities now, dude. They probably show up at the shit now and they're
what's up, Frank?
VIPs, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. That's awesome. So that's it for the show, guys. Remember, you've been listening to GameSpeak Podcast, courtesy of CreateForSanity.com. The show posts for free every Wednesday on all podcast directories as an audio file, or you can catch it on video on YouTube. I like saying video. It
feels good.
It does.
Video.
Yeah, so be sure to submit any questions you want read on the show to GameSpeak Podcast like Jeff Liu did at the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/GameSpeak, or actually facebook.com/groups/GameSpeak Podcast. And if you want to stay up to date with you boys, you can find me on Twitter at the handle Aljaafreh Jamal and Brent at BrentHas1. That's the number 1. And check out the GameSpeak Podcast Instagram. Until next time, listeners, later.
Bye.